So it appears that Pete Buttigieg has dropped out and supported Joe Biden, along with Amy Klobuchar, or Klobuchar. I don't remember how to spell her name. The Democrats once again are mounting against Bernie Sanders, and it appears to me that they really don't want him to become president. Same deal as last time. Now, honestly, some people feel that if Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, then Donald Trump is just going to get a second term. But on the other hand, I've got a strong feeling if Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden, then he's also going to get a second term because Joe Biden, also known as Sleepy Joe, can't keep his hands to himself Joe. There's so much about Joe Biden that a lot of people wouldn't want to see as president, not to mention the fact that he was the vice president of Barack Obama, which there are plenty of people that still don't feel good about Obama. Not to mention that there are a lot of people in the Democratic side who would not vote for anyone other than Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard. There are certain candidates that they wouldn't choose to vote for, and you just look at a lot of these left-wing YouTubers such as Kyle Kalinske and Vosh. They're very pro-Bernie. That's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, there are a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters who wouldn't vote for anybody else. Now, in 2016, it was a little bit different because, Donald Trump wasn't perceived to be the winner, but now that he is the incumbent and a lot of people on the left are very unhappy with his presidency, they will potentially vote for whoever the Democrat is. But who knows? I hear a lot of talk in the left that they wouldn't. Add to this that Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren are teaming up behind the scenes, and apparently Warren's team doesn't want to talk about Hillary Clinton, probably because of the backlash that's going to get, seeing as all the shenanigans that Warren did with Bernie Sanders. Warren using identity politics, apparently, with all the shenanigans with this CNN town hall meeting. I wouldn't be surprised that if she were to become the nominee, then the Democrats are going to go belly up against Trump, as most people are tired of the identity politics playing such a role in the Democratic Party politics. Not to mention that people feel that some of these people insist that Donald Trump wages a misogynistic campaign, despite there being plenty of women who support Donald Trump regardless of whatever he said. And regardless of whether or not you find their support more based in taking advantage of a demand for tokenism, it's still something that the Democrats can't really use identity politics against, saying that these women aren't real women. Well, I disagree that the Democratic Party is going anywhere anytime soon because I think that the two main parties are too established. I would see it sinking the Democratic Party and potentially giving Donald Trump a second term. And while for some people in my audience that's a bonus, I personally would rather not have such a president continue to be president, considering his not so great track record on some constitutional rights, whether it be advocating for red flag laws or advocating for libel laws. Let's hope that the Democrats get their stuff together and do not try to screw over Bernie Sanders. Or if they must choose somebody, hopefully it won't be Biden or Warren. But of course, knowing the good old Democrats, they're not going to let that stop them from stopping or trying to stop Bernie Sanders, whether they use undemocratic means to stop Bernie Sanders, where they speak about changing the rules just to stop him. The Democrats, some of which might even support Donald Trump or just not support Bernie Sanders at all if he becomes their candidate, which is something that Republicans did to Donald Trump back in 2016, for anyone who has a good memory. You see, in the Democratic Party, which I find to be less democratic than the Republican Party, despite my politics with the Republican Party not really aligning, the superdelegates historically supported Hillary Clinton, and chances are for the most part going to side with whoever is against Bernie Sanders, the largest candidate against Bernie Sanders, which many anti-establishment Democrats, progressives, and moderates, and younger voters who are really opposed to the anti-democratic practices in the Democratic Party. It just so happens that I'm recording this on Super Tuesday at 12:26 p.m. And later on today is when we're going to see the results, whether or not the Democratic Party is going to shoot themselves in the foot in the face of Donald Trump. Vosh had a pretty good take on all of this, in fact, that really explains how I feel about this.
That's the 50% threshold that you need to avoid a brokered convention. Okay? Sound good? Sound good? We good? All right. Now let's say that Bernie makes it with 52% of the total votes. We're good. We're done. That's it. No brokered convention. However, let's say he gets 48%. You know? He gets 48%, and then fucking Bloomberg gets 20. These are arbitrary numbers. Buttigieg gets that much, and I don't know, Biden gets that much, and nobody else is even relevant enough to take a look at. Okay. Speaking, if we have a brokered convention and all of the pledged delegates for Bernie all jump to Bloomberg, thus putting him above the threshold, that would be the end of the Democratic Party. There is, generally speaking, an expectation that even in a brokered convention, pledged delegates will, for the most part, not interfere with the will of the people. But that's not a law, you know. They can if they want to. They're totally allowed to. It might fuck up the Democratic Party for a bit and make some people really angry, but hey, anything to stop, a real progressive candidate from entering the stage. No. In reality, what the pledged delegates usually do is that the people who pledge their votes to the lesser candidates will pile onto the one of the two like front runners. So in essence, in a brokered convention, the pledged delegates for the smaller candidates over here end up playing kingmaker to the people who come in first or second. Because, these people aren't going to win no matter what. So now the pledged delegates here have to decide, well, somebody has to end up with more than 50% of the votes. Who are we going to go to?
Well, I disagree that the Democratic Party is going anywhere anytime soon, because I think that the two main parties are too established. I would see it sinking the Democratic Party and potentially giving Donald Trump a second term, sorry. And while for some people in my audience that's a bonus, I personally would rather not have such a president continue to be president, considering his not so great track record on some constitutional rights, whether it be advocating for red flag laws or advocating for libel laws. Let's hope that the Democrats get their stuff together and do not try to screw over Bernie Sanders. Or if they must choose somebody, hopefully it won't be Biden or Warren.